200 TPD rock gold CIL processing plant explanation. This setup is one complete processing flow sheet including feeding, crushing system, grinding system, leaching pretreatment, leaching, activated carbon adsorption processing, gold-loaded carbon desorption and electrolytic stage, and tailing water recycling system. We can design or adjust the solution based on your current situation and requirements. The processing capacity for this plant can be customized as per the customer's requirement, like 50 TPD, 100 TPD, 200 TPD, 300 TPD, 480 TPD, 720 TPD, etc. This customer required 200 tons per day for the processing plant. 1. Feeding and crushing system works 8 to 10 hours per day. The loader or excavator feeds rock ore to the raw material hopper. There is one chute feeder under the hopper for feeding the material into the jaw crusher evenly. The hopper can be made at the mine site according to the real situation. The rough jaw crusher crushes big rocks from 340 millimeters to below 100 millimeters. The output from the rough jaw crusher is transported to the fine jaw crusher by belt conveyor. The fine jaw crusher crushes rocks from 60 millimeters to below 25 millimeters. The output from the fine jaw crusher is transported to a vibrating screen by a belt conveyor. The gravel bigger than 25 millimeters will be sent back to the fine jaw crusher for crushing again. The smaller 25 millimeter output goes to the storage hopper before the ball mill via the belt conveyor. Then the 0-25 millimeter fine gravel is fed to the ball mill by a conveyor, and there is one electromagnetic vibration feeder under the hopper as well. It's also for buffering and feeding the material evenly. 2. Grinding system works 24 hours per day. The ball mill grinds fine gravel into fine powder in order to release the gold from the rocks. The output from the ball mill goes to the spiral classifier for classification. Then the underflow of the spiral classifier returns to the ball mill for grinding again. To make sure the final output from the grinding system can meet that 90% of the overflow of the spiral classifier is less than 200 mesh, 0.074 millimeters. 3. Leaching pretreatment works 24 hours per day. The overflow of the spiral classifier will go to a thickener by a slurry pump. Before the slurry is transported into the thickener, there is one safety screen to screen out some waste first, and then the materials under the screen will go to the inside thickener directly. At the same time, the flocculant is added to the thickener. The overflow from the thickener goes to settling ponds, and then the water can be recycled after precipitation. The underflow from the thickener will flow into a mixing tank. Then use a slurry pump to pump the materials into 2 pre-leaching tanks. Related chemicals need to be added accordingly here. 4. Leaching and activated carbon adsorption processing. 6 pieces double impeller adsorption agitation tanks with active carbon and roots blower work for adsorption agitation tanks. 5. Gold-loaded carbon desorption and electrolytic stage. The gold-loaded carbon will be transported to a safety screen. Then they will go to a normal temperature, normal pressure desorption electrolysis system, and a drying oven for gold mud. Finally, there is a gold smelting furnace for making the gold bar. 6. Activated carbon washing equipment. There is a picking and mixing tank. The hydrochloric acid will be added to the pickling mixing tank to soak and pickle the activated carbon. This step will wash off the materials that block the hole on the surface of the activated carbon. Then the activated carbon can be reused again in the leaching and adsorption tank. Generally, it can be washed and reused up to 3 to 4 times. And then there is a drying kiln used for drying the activated carbon. 7. Tailing water recycling system. The tailing from 6 adsorption agitation tanks will go to a linear vibrating screen for screening large impurities first. The underscreen materials of the linear vibrating screen will be sent to one tailing mixing tank for adjusting the slurry. Then use a filter feeding pump to feed the slurry into the filter presses for filtering and recycling the water. The overflow water from filter presses will be sent to the settling pond, and then the water can be recycled after precipitation. If the customer doesn't need tailing water recycling equipment, he will have to add some bleaching powder to the tailings before sending them to the tailing dam to prevent the cyanide from polluting the environment. The tailings need to be treated harmlessly, usually using agents such as bleach powder to neutralize the cyanide. The main component of bleaching powder is calcium hypochlorite, which can produce hypochlorite ions in aqueous solution.